I'm sure both runners want to get that 2-0 with, you know, the elimination point at the 5-2 block, I believe. You know, they want to.
Oh yes, and we're on our way now. It's important to note that the uncle has the sword, meaning we're gonna get the sword from the uncle. And in Link's house is a 5-bomb upgrade.
So this being the standard randomized weapons, we can get sword, hammer, either of the canes, the bow. What's your preference, chat? What do you guys want to see?
Looks like we're going to be getting a sword because when the uncle was leaving the house, he was leaving it with the sword. If it doesn't show a sword, that means it's a randomized weapon. So, pretty good. Makes easy work of the guards. And just a piece of heart in the uncle chest.
Vanilla sword is going to make the bomb farming easier. Jet has that taken care of already, picking up 1 bomb already.
Yeah, getting bombs sometime during escape is really, really important. Gets those free chests in the back.
So I expect. Sorry.
I know, you can go ahead.
I expect Jet to not kill anything more than he absolutely has to at this point. He's going to get through escape as quickly as possible, and most likely hope to pick up some bombs either by tree pulls or random enemy drops. Scatter is going to be killing anything that's quick, most likely the green guards, and then of course every rat and bat and snake until he picks up his necessary bomb.
Oh yeah, and we can also get bombs from any of the chests we find along the way. Of course, one of the chests is going to have the key to the sewers. That's always there. Scatter's just a little bit behind, but hopefully he'll be able to make that time up. Gonna see what's in this chest right here. Oh, Ether! It's not a common item you would see in the beginning of the game, especially in Escape. Alright, we're heading to the ball and chain guard. Jet has him pinned to the door, be able to get the key. Looks like Scatter's gonna be using pot strats to take care of the ball and chain.
Scatter was already down a heart, so doing the pot strats, gives him the opportunity to pick up that heart, and is definitely safer than the 8 sword slashes.
Oh, we also got the key to the locked door in the sewers, so we don't have to worry about that. Looks like Jet is going to be the first person to push the big giant chair and head to the sewers. Scatter, not that far behind. Also, still no bomb from Scatter, so hopefully he'll be able to find it along the way from these green guards. Or maybe he's going to try to gamble on the rats in the escape.
Yeah, those green guards there, definitely were a good opportunity to get some bombs. The 2 pots will take him out right away. Looks like he is making that snake rat bat gamble. It's definitely nice to have the sword or something, at least like the bow, to make this escape process. If you have to use one of the magic intensive items like the fire rod in order to do escape, and farming that bomb with only 8 fire rod shots and the few magic refills is it's definitely risky. It's not uncommon to end up having to backtrack here later on.
So it's important to note that even though we don't have the lamp, we still get a light cone through this section. This is the only time we're gonna have it if we're lampless. So that's very nice. And Jet's gonna come up to those free chests with the one bomb he has.
So we did see the map in one of the escape sewer chests, so that means there will be an item in the sanctuary chest.
Like the mirror, and a heart, and rubies. So yeah, we're gonna be seeing. I think we're gonna be seeing the compass in the sank chest. I don't think we saw that. Ooh, Jet's passing up on the full magic drop. So Scatter's gonna be missing out on the mirror, sadly. So in order to get that item, he'll have to, of course, get a bomb, and then oh well, there's bombs right there. Never mind. He's gonna be heading back to get that.
Unfortunately,
or
he'll
not.
find that he can't. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Jet uses the mirror here in Sanctuary. Normally it takes you to the door, but if you haven't left Sanctuary for the first time, it'll dump you out in the front of Hyrule Castle.
That's pretty efficient. So sadly, it looks like Scatter's gonna be missing out on that mirror. So as stated, he's gonna need bombs and the glove upgrade in order to get it.
Yeah, Jet did accidentally use that mirror there and end up not where he wanted to be. So he had to do a save and quit and restart right back at Sanctuary. He is most likely going to follow what I know to be his standard route. That it includes a tree pull, crab check, and lumberjack item check. Having completed the escape sequence, both of our runners, if they choose to check this tree pull, are at the tier 2 prize. Which means that they've killed 4 or more enemies and having taken damage.
Looks like the prize today is just green rubies and the crab is offering hearts. And now we're going to see the lumberjack cave. And it's just a bottle. So bottles are helpful, but it's not progression. So sadly, Aghanim's not required just yet.
No, we might need to do an Aghanim tower run in order to get Dark World access, but neither of these runners are going to do it just for that bottle.
Oh, a little sink there going into the tree hideout. And just a big 20.
Trying to skip the big 20, unfortunately picks it up. Gives them both money to pick up bombs in Kakariko. Fortunately, Scatter was able to pick up a few bombs, but Jet has absolutely none. He's going to have to make the long trek down to the bottom of Kakariko, then all the way back up.
It looks like Song Leaves in chat wants Moon Pearl to be on Sick Kid. Well, if you want that to happen, there's a way to bypass that if we find another bottle, but that would be pretty evil if we can't find any of the other free bottles. Ooh, there's the hook shot. If we find a glove or a flute to get up to Death Mountain, that'll be pretty good. We get to go to the East Death Mountain with that. And there's Half Magic and Blind's Hut. And nothing else so far.
Well, with the hookshot and the mirror, that gives them access to all of Death Mountain. They can get to the Tower of Hera area. They can get to the Eastern Death Mountain. They don't even need to wait until they get the hammer.
There's the fire rod in the well. There's our fire source.
That's an excellent item to get out of the way early. And in addition to the fire source, being able to light torches gives you Skullwoods access, Ice Palace access, and you're not going to have to go hunting around for it if you need to do Turtle Rock. And they
Ah,
both got the
yes.
Master Sword as well.
Well, there's one piece to Aghanim where we just need the lamp, and that'll be in logic.
Master Sword is an excellent progression item. Opening up, like Murphy said, what's one of the two ways to get into Aghanim's tower. It's double the damage and greater reach than the Fighter Sword. It also lets you, check the tablets once you get the book. So there's a lot of progression in that one item.
Oh yeah. It's also helpful for taking out enemies as well.
Given how early we are in the seed and how many locations are remaining, it's probable that they're going to find another sword. But the Master Sword is the minimum requirement for them to complete the game. So we definitely know that they're not going to have to do any post Aga Tower, post Ganon's Tower sword hunts.
Yeah, Master Sword is possible to kill Ganon, but you need to do a bunch of spin slashes. Scatter's gonna gamble. I'm not gonna check the item. He has a bunch of bombs, so I don't blame him. It's just a big 20, so we are kind of low on cash, so I guess it kind of helps.
Yeah, when you're missing so many items, especially if you feel more comfortable with safety items, the odds of there being something that you're going to want to pick up, even if it's a heart container, makes using that bomb again, a good play.
Oh yeah, and it looks like Scatter did pick up that cash, so that was really helpful. Jet's gonna check out the dam. He's gonna be using the hook shot to clip right through the block. Just gonna find a 5 bomb upgrade so far.
That's a useful trick, using the hook shot while you're in the process of pushing the block to skip through it. He had actually 2 ways he could do that. He had the mirror as well, which would delete the block entirely.
Oh yeah.
So,
oh, there's the Moon Pearl.
Transition.
Oh, that lowers the Agaseed a little bit. We just need 2 gloves or a glove and a hammer to get the Dark World access.
So what would you rather find? 2 gloves giving you Dark World access, but your only access to Dark World is through Kakariko Village, or 1 glove and a hammer on the pyramid, but you have to go through Aga Tower to get it.
Ooh, that's a tough choice. Oh, there's one of the gloves right there. And the flippers. Whew. Oh, there's Hype Cave number 1 pan off. The other 2 chests were just a piece of heart.
What do you guys say, chat? Would you rather have the 2 gloves or the hammer on the pyramid?
Well, the troll side of me says hammer on pyramid, but usually hammer's a good item to have.
Well, typically when you see a player get Moon Pearl at that particular location, we're increasingly likely to see some fake flipper strats. But unfortunately, they picked up the flippers, which takes all the fun out of it.
Oh yeah, no fake flippers today. Jet's gonna get the item in Ice Rod Cave, and he's gonna opt to save and quit. Not gonna check the items that require you to swim just yet.
He's probably waiting until he has enough money in order to do everything in one trip. Having the gloves, he may choose to make a Houlihan run.
Oh, and there's our first map check. I think I saw the red crystal at Terra Hera, and the blue pendant in Desert. So yeah, that's vanilla.
It looks like Jet is going to use his newly acquired gloves to sequence break up to Death Mountain. He does not have the lamp, so he's going to do this old man rescue in the dark. Scatter, on the other hand, is taking advantage of his flippers, and he looks like he'll be doing the water area checks.
Yeah, this will all be logic when we either find the lamp or the flute. And it's... I wouldn't blame him for the gamble. We have the hook shot and the mirror, so we can head up to both Tower of Hera and the other side of Death Mountain to get the Paradox Cave and Spiral Cave. And he makes it out really nice.
Yeah, the item density up here is greater than any other location in the game at the moment that's open to Jet. Plus, the Tower of Hera being a red crystal, one of the 256 crystals, is something that, you know, it's nice to get out of the way early, just in case you know, you're routing Pyramid in later on, and you can do the Pyramid Fairy check at the same time. Scatter finding only an arrow on the ledge, not having any money for Zora, is going to have to do a save and quit.
Hey, then there's our first bottle. Or second bottle. Technically our first bottle. Yeah, Jet's not going to pick it up just yet. Interesting. Oh, and it looks like Scatter's going to go back and get those free chests. He's going to get his mirror. Oh man, Jet almost talked to the NPC there.
It's interesting that Jet elected not to pick up that bottle. That would, of course, unlock the progression possibility at the Sick Kid fetch quest. It's not really that far out of his way to pick up.
Oh yeah. So we found a small key, so that means we might have to go into the basement to get the big key, unless it's in this chest right here. And it's not, so we're going to the basement. And he's just gonna take his coffee break.
That is a pretty ideal key situation, because you're not forced to make the gamble of whether you want to do a Tower of Hera basement. You know that you have to do it, it's a crystal, and you know that your opponent has to do it as well.
Oh, looks like Jet was trying to get in there, but he didn't. And Scatter's gonna sequence break as well to get to Death Mountain. Once again, it would be the good play to do that.
Absolutely, and this is one of the easier dark room sequence breaks to do in the game. You can practice this just a few times and normally pick it up pretty easily, especially with the sword to show you the way. It doesn't help him too much at the moment, but turning the old man in, of course, does give them that third optional starting point.
Alright, Jet is heading to the next part of Hera. Looks like Scatter's gonna be just right behind them. Let's see if they pick up the bottle. That'd be interesting.
Jet's making good use of the hook shot to navigate throughout this tower, since he doesn't have the boots yet. Hook shot, you know, is a nice way to save a little bit of time getting around on those pots, on some of the walls.
Okay, it looks like the other item in Harry was just a big 20. So we're gonna be skipping out on that big chest. And it looks like Scatter is gonna opt to pick up that bottle.
Absolutely, only 2 items in Hera, so that big chest is going to be either a map or a compass.
Yeah, same with Troll Dorm. Speaking of Troll Dorm, he's trying to block Jet's entrance into there.
Scatter attempted to do a bomb jump back to the other side of that ledge. It's one of the trickier bomb jumps to do. Unfortunately, he's going to have to do this long walk down here with the mini Moldworms, but it only saves a few seconds.
All right, we got our first crystal in under 20 minutes. This is a pretty good seed so far.
Yeah, both of our runners are executing fairly similar routes. We haven't seen any divergence, and they're really only a few minutes apart at this point.
Oh, okay, that was actually kind of smart by Jet. He's actually going to go pick up the bottle on his way down when he's on his way to get the Paradox Cave, so that's interesting.
That is clever routing. I was initially thinking heading east and skipping it, but uh, without the hammer, he's able to route this all back in. So that's pretty clever.
Alright, so Jet's gonna head up to Paradox Cave, or as I guess V29 calls it, the True Hype Cave, or the new and improved Hype Cave. Oh, there's 3 different Hype Caves in this game now.
Well, if he doesn't find the hammer or another glove at this location, it's probably going to force him over to the eastern area. Keep in mind that none of what they're doing right now is technically in the logic. So if they do find,
Ooh. Well, there's the D.
Sorry, if they do find the
Sorry,
glove, it's not the actual. It would not have been the way that the logic intended for them to get Dark World access if they find something using this method.
Yes. So with that early D, we can now clear Eastern in one shot. And here are a few chests I got. I got a bunch of money. More money. Piece of heart. And money. The only value in that cave is the D.
Yeah, so. The bow, it's going to save them another trip to Eastern, but it also means that that Armos can't have any progression items because once again, the bow was obtained by a sequence break. Now, unless of course we do find later on in the game that Lamp or Flute was in a Genus cave, bringing all of this back into sequence.
That'd be interesting. Jet's gonna go check the floating island and then probably Spiral Cave. Yeah, just a
full heart container on the floating island. So this will be the last chest that he's able to get up here on Death Mountain, unless he picks up a mitt.
And meanwhile, Scatter is going to be taking on Trolldorm. He's going to be getting his first crystal if he's able to deal with the trollness of Trolldorm. Yep, just a piece of heart. Oh, Scatter's trying to enter there, but keeps getting knocked back. Ooh, takes a fall in the middle. So he's gonna fall a lot.
That's unfortunate, having to climb back up 2 floors. Big time lost there. And of course frustrating. Looks like Jet is deciding to make the eastern area play. This gives him access to 3 items from the back of Sasha's hut, and with the bow, assuming that he does the eastern dark room, logic skips 3 items in eastern as well.
Alright, let's see what we got here. 50 bucks, piece of heart, 20 bucks. So anything important in this closet, and Scatter just took a death! Oh no! That's not the worst dungeon to die to a boss to, I guess. Looking on the bright side.
It's not too bad. It doesn't put him that much further back than the 2-floor Trolldorm fall does. It's a fairly short dungeon, so it's not, it's... Unfortunately, the risk here for Scatter is that Moldorm can be so frustrating that you can go on tilt and 1 or 2 falls will turn into 6 or 7 falls.
Alright, Jet is going to make the check into Eastern. He can full clear it. But after the part where we have to get the chest in the big key chest, that's going to be sequence breakable. So Oh, that's unless we find the lamp.
Yeah, the Eastern Dark Rooms are some of the Dark Rooms that most runners typically learn first. The first one is just the perimeter of a square, which is very easy to navigate with the sword. The second Dark Room is much more difficult, but the Fire Rod will allow him to light a torch in that room, which will make everything very easy.
Oh yeah.
So
First item is just $30.
So congratulations,
300.
Scatter. Successfully finishes off the Moldorm.
Oh, there's the big key.
So Scatter now making the Eastern Death Mountain play.
And the compass and the big chest, that means the last two items require a sequence break. And Scatter is going to be picking up his D and nothing else special, I guess.
Neither of these locations, because they're sequence breaks, will have the Dark World progression. Jet's getting them done while he's here, to save time, avoid having to do a backtrack. But ultimately, it looks like he's going to have to go either to the Zora area, Aegina's Cave, or make the Aghanim tower play in order to get his Dark World access.
Yeah, chances are starting to dwindle around Aghanim. We also found our third bottle already. And 26 minutes in. It usually doesn't happen that often.
Well, that's a good point. Progression could also be at sick kid, given the high bottle density we've had so far. We've seen 3, and they've been able to pick up 2 of those.
That could be some potential breadcrumbs right there to follow.
Sick Kid is one of those fetch quest locations that's a little bit easy to forget sometimes, so we may not see them go back and check it initially. Given how often you have to go back into Kakariko, Village of Outcasts area, it's something that they probably won't make a special trip for.
Alright, now we're coming up to the Armos Knights. Just gonna be using regular arrows here. Silver arrows, this boss is a joke. Still pretty easy with just plain arrows, though.
Jet takes out
And it was just
Armos
funny.
using the fairly standard NMG Armos strat. Looks like he missed one shot, and the last one did go red, but didn't have any trouble.
Yeah, not bad. We also found our second crystal in under 30 minutes. So, chat, do you actually think that this has potential to be a jet seed? Because that's the case so far.
I think by definition it's a jet seed.
Guess it depends on if we find either a second glove or a hammer. That's for sure.
I think if Jet's playing, then it's an automatic jet seed. Isn't that the rule?
Oh, yeah, that's true. There's the ice rod on top of like Hylia Island, so just gonna have that in the back of his mind until he enters the Dark World and goes over to the Ice Palace area.
I think this is our first hobo check, or I'm not sure if Scatter checked hobo.
Yeah, actually, unless it was like nothing of importance. Well, let's check. What do we got? Oh, it's the Titans mitts.
Well, we would have
That's our
remembered
Dark World
if
access.
checked hobo.
Yeah, now it's starting to look like a true jet seed.
Well, But that gives Jet access to all of the Dark World overworld locations. He's going to have to enter in Kakariko Village, but with the flippers, he is able to reach the eastern side as well, including Palace of Darkness. It's definitely an inconvenient trip if he has to make that route multiple times, though. So with any luck, the runners will find the hammer fairly soon to avoid those very long tracks.
Oh yeah. Also, Jet has enough money to check Zora as well, so this could be something of importance that Scatter was over here earlier but didn't have the money to do it.
That's a good point. We saw the 10 arrow item, but he didn't have the rupees. Given the fact that he already found the gloves, that's most likely the progression he needed. I wouldn't expect too much from Zora here other than the typical lesson.
Those could be a life lesson, it could be a progression lesson. Explosion as it's a heart lesson. It's a big one.
That's a literal life lesson there. Ooh, Scatter unfortunately spawns all 4 of those Staffos.
Jet off into save and quit at the sanctuary. It looks like because he probably has that fire rod, he can full clear Skull Woods.
Well, we most likely will see a check into Skull Woods for the items. If it's not a crystal, he may decide not to actually clear it.
Oh yeah, we're probably gonna get a map check very shortly because we're now fully in the Dark World. Yep, here we go. Alright, it's a red crystal, and the other 2 pendants are Mire and TR.
Oh, I think this definitely looks like it has the potential to be a Jet Seed. Being able to skip Mire and TR, that makes the Cane of Samaria an optional item, assuming that the Ganon Tower Big Key is on the left side.
Yeah, Cane of Samaria optional item. Well, once Jet beats this dungeon, that's gonna put Pyramid Fairy in the play.
Yeah, there's no doubt that a red crystal wouldn't get priority.
All right, nice bomb jump there. Got that early big key. It's only $50 though.
Yeah, that's a tricky bomb jump to pull off. Without the boots, you have to be within 2 pixels of the edge. The boots gives you a 6 pixel margin of error. Jet, right at this point, has found both items already in Skullwood, so he can either head down or go straight to Mothula.
He looks like he's gonna head straight to Mothula. Got the mushroom too.
In Jet's biography, he said that the mushroom is one of the items that he wants to see the least at an early location. But I think at this point they're far enough along that he shouldn't be too concerned about it. Interestingly, though, Jet's preferred item that he wanted to see the most is the red cane. So he seems to be a little bit conflicted about whether he wants to have the red cane and the mushroom at the same time in order to do the magic bat glitch. And that is my favorite bunny beam sprite, the little tiny Metroid.
Yeah, it's kind of clever, I must say. Shoutouts to all the sprite events out there. Not only do they create awesome sprites, but they make very clever bunny sprites for the said sprites.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Scatter picking up his second crystal, having cleared off Armos with no trouble at all. Leaving with 13 hours puts him in a good position ammunition-wise.
Mafia just gets destroyed by that fire rod, especially with the half magic. And that's crystal number 3 for Jet.
Yeah, you only need 8 fire rod shots, and half magic gives you 16. So you can just machine gun him. And as our tracker in chat points out, that of course does now put the Pyramid Fairy into logic. I wouldn't be surprised that, you know, if Jet decides to make his initial pyramid check, neither runner has been up there. They will do the Fat Fairy check as well and get everything done. It's always nice not to have to make a second trip back into the pyramid.
Yeah, it's nice. Looks like Sick Kid had a blue mail. That's always nice to have.
Blue
Not
mail
used for progression, but it's nice to have.
Blue mail is an excellent item to have with 10 hearts at this point. You know, they may not need it, but you know, cutting your damage down by 50% lets you go a little faster, lets you be a little bit more reckless, a little bit more aggressive. Every death that you can eliminate is a significant time savings. They're not going to go out of their way for red mail at this point, but they're probably both happy to get some blue. To comment in on chat, Hammer and Lamp is not required for Pyramid Fairy. They can access the eastern side of the Dark World by using the flippers.
That is correct. I guess we should, now that we know where all of our pendants and crystals are, talk about Go Mode for a sec. We have a handful of items needed to complete the game, but we still need the hammer, obviously. Possibly the lamp, because it's nice to have. Also the boots, that's also nice to have as well. And it also prevents the stress of the big key being on the torch. But for now, we mostly need the hammer.
Well, it looks like I made the ultimate mistake and attempted to correct chat on something. Inevitably, I'm the one who gets corrected. The big bomb cannot swim, even though Link can.
Also, I have now acquired the commentary curse because Jet just found the hammer inside the sea house.
That is excellent timing. He's going to be able to complete Thieves Town and not have to potentially double dip this if there's an item in the Thieves Town big chest. If a lot of times runners are reluctant to go into Thieves without the hammer, or stop after checking the first 4 chests to avoid that lengthy double dip. So having the hammer at that location is just perfect.
I would say Jet is kind of in semi-go mode. It really comes down to where this GT big key is. If it's right side, we need the Cane of Samara. If it's on the torch, we need the boots as well.
So logically, they're not in go mode until they do find that lamp, or the flute, because everything that they are still deep into sequence break territory. But it is potential that they will be able to complete the game with the items that they have at the moment.
Yeah, it's possible that some shortage of time we're gonna find either the flute or the lamp. Looks like Scatter's just gonna die to regain on health. Oh, there's a small key right there, so I'm not gonna opt to check the big chest. Kind of lost track if we found all the items or not. Yeah, it looks like he's gonna head up to Blind right now. She's gonna give us the pun for the seed, which is being crashed by something.
Being
Sorry,
crushed by
text
an
was going a little
object
fast.
is depressing.
Oh, I get that one.
So if you had the Master Sword and no silver arrows and green mail, what would you be willing to make the trip all the way up the Ganon's Tower, or would you make a trip to the potion shop first?
Well, I would probably, if I weren't to be able to check chests for any of those items, I'll probably head to the potion shop immediately, especially when we have 2 bottles. But I would also probably go out of my way to find either one of those items, either silver arrows, another sword, or maybe a mill upgrade. Also, it's kind of fitting that Jet's name that he chose was Go.
Well, it was go go go, but you know I think like I read it as go go goo, like he wanted a bottle.
Oh. All he got is bottle of goo inside Spectacle Rock. I'm assuming when he said that, it was some sort of foreshadowing about getting go mode very early.
Potentially. So it looks like he's going to do Hype Cave at this point. Hype Cave, we've had very mixed results. He's been super hype or an absolute dud.
Alright, well, so far we only found $5.
5 rupees is not high.
Found Quake, 20, Heart Piece, and Blueberries. Only hype in there was Quake, but since we don't need to go in the Turtle Rock or Misery Mire, that's not.
Normally picking up a medallion is a little bit nice to have, but you know, knowing that they don't have to go into either of those dungeons, that's gonna have to be a 0, I think.
Aww. That's sad. It looks like Jet is gonna opt to head in the swamp next.
There are a number of chests in Swamp that it makes sense to pick up, even if you are in go mode, especially when you're looking for additional swords, health, or silver arrows. But I definitely would not expect either of our runners to make a left side Swamp check.
I think I would also go out of my way to check for chests. Get that red cane just so you don't have to worry about the anxiety of right side big key. That and a sword upgrade. Silvers. Of course, there is 2 chests in this dungeon called Left Side Swamp, which takes a long time to get to.
Well, the red cane does block 4 chests potentially in Ganon's Tower, while the boots only block 1. But either of those items could potentially still be required go mode items, and we just won't know until we actually make the Ganon's Tower checks.
So far, Jet opt to not check that chest up there. So we're gonna see what he does to next couple of chests coming up.
That's a pretty easy chest to check. I'm a little surprised to see that one get skipped.
Yeah, the few out of the way chests in dungeons. That one, probably the one with the waterfall room. That's pretty easy, and maybe even the 2 chests just below that room too.
The 2 chests below that room also have 2 heart pieces, and he only has 5 hearts, so he may want just to get just those 2 chests and a little bit more health.
Yeah, he skipped the chest below the big chest room, so I think he's gonna go mode it. That's right.
Well, he's very confident with his own skills. It seems like he does not feel like he needs any more safeties at this point.
Yeah, we're gonna see if these risks are gonna pay off. Because this is randomizers. Trolls can and will happen. Oh, alright, looks like he's opting to check these 2 chests down here. See what it is. 20 bucks. Oh, there's the flute. Okay, yep, now bow is in logic.
And only bombs in the waterfall chest. But it's a very quick chest to check on the way. You're literally just walking right past it. Walking being the key word, because they don't even have the boots to run past it. The scatter is about halfway done Thieves Town. Also was able to pick up the hammer prior to coming in here, so that's fortuitous for him.
Jet is fighting Argus and gets two down with 1 spin slash right there. Oh, he does it again too. Looks like we're not gonna play menu swap simulator today.
Even with the fighter sword, a spin that hits the puff twice will kill it. The hammer stress really only makes sense if you have no sword at all. It's just too time consuming to menu. Jet misses his fire rod shots though.
Alright, there goes Argus. We're gonna get 5 crystals even before the 1 hour mark, let alone the 50-minute mark.
Three cycles Argus, and then uses as many fire rod shots as he can just out of spite.
He's saving quitting at the sanctuary. Looks like he's gonna be locking the swag duck pretty soon.
This is interesting to see, flute activation. There's nowhere that the flute can take in that he actually needs the flute to access. Assuming that he's with everything that he's skipped in Swamp Palace, it's unlikely that he's going to go to the Misery Mire area. I was expecting that he would head north, do the pyramid and pyramid fairy checks, and then head directly over to Palace of Darkness.
Meanwhile, Scatter takes down Blind using the King of Brian strats.
With half magic, there's no reason not to. So Scatter is taking advantage of some of these southern Dark World locations. Actually, it looks like he's walking right past them.
Just gonna opt to trade in the mushroom. That's interesting. We might get something out of here.
So
It's just bombs, but he's gonna also stock up on potions.
Merc, could you add Mirror to Scatter's tracker?
Alright, Jet's gonna head up to Pod. this is where sequence breaking in the lamp starts to, you know, come into play a little more.
I still find this an interesting route, though. You know, having exited Swamp, he was very close to Ice Palace, and could have gone to Ice Palace, finished that, and then swum up to Pod, and never needed to activate the flute. So it's a little interesting to see that. Um, I'll have to ask him in the interview why he decided to take that alternate route. So Scatter is also taking the I'm going to go mode swamp approach, skipping that first chest.
Here's key number 1 and a 6 in Pod. Once we find the big key, we'll be able to go mode this dungeon, and if we have a key left over, obviously.
Yeah, Pod's one of those dungeons that it's probable that you're at least going to pick up some of the items, just given how many chests you frequently have to go through in order to find the big key and a small key for progression. You're bound to pick up something. Well, it is possible to somewhat go mode Pod. If you find the big key and a small key on the bow locked right hand side, you can skip the entire back of Pod. So there is definitely time savings. You can't skip everything like Ice or Swamp Palace, but by no means do you have to necessarily do a full clear. Not having found the big key, he's going through the standard Pod route, checking every chest on the way. Most likely, big key is probably going to be in the back.
Yeah, first item is just 10 bombs. Hey, there's my first shield right there. And Scatter's is on Argus. A little bit of trouble there with just the Master Sword, but getting through it.
Scatter opting for the 2 sword slashes instead of the sword spins, doing 1 puff at a time. Doesn't take too much longer, only maybe 10 seconds. Four Master Sword spins will be all that he needs to finish off Argus, and he's not even going to have to bother with the Fire Rod. Jet heading down into the basement of Pod, not having the lamp. We'll have to do this in the dark. So this, for all we know, is still potentially in the sequence break logic. Definitely not going to find the lamp in these dark rooms.
It's just a compass and a key, though. No big key just yet.
Scatter went directly to Swamp prior to checking Hype Cave, so he's making his Hype Cave check now. It'll be interesting to see if he decides to head to a pyramid check, or head to Ice Palace, or if he makes the same decision that Jet did and saves and quit and do his flute activation.
And now coming up to the Dark Maze. That's another sequence break. Piece of heart in the first chest. He's got that mirror ready in case he finds that big key, possibly. Man, we couldn't tell what that last item was. Oh, it looks like it was the big key.
Remind me, Murphy, where did Jet pick up the flute?
The flute was in the 2 chests just below the waterfall room in the swamp.
I did think it was in Swamp, so I didn't happen to notice that it looks like Scatter must have decided not to
Yes.
check those 2 locations.
Speaking of which, Scatter is doing Ice Palace first before Pod.
Well, not having found the flute, this definitely makes sense. He can do the original routing that I was discussing earlier, ice, and then swing over to Pod, and never having any need to activate the flute. So so I don't think that not finding it is going to really have any impact on his routing at all. Yeah, these dungeons are lining up just perfectly for the runners. They're not having, I don't think they even had to turn around once everything's directly in their path. And just
All right.
this whole seat is hold right, and if you happen to walk past a dungeon, go in and clear it.
Okay, Jet was able to light the torch there, so this will make it much easier in this room. One of the few rooms, if you're doing it in the dark, to light the torches with the fire rod if you have it.
Absolutely, that's probably one of, if not the hardest dark rooms in the game to complete. If you have no means of lighting those torches, I would say that and some of the Mire dark rooms are probably just about the same.
Oh, nice bomb jump there by Scatter.
Excellent bomb jump positioning, gets that on his very first try.
And we're on Helmasaur night for Jet, able to take off the mask, and now just a couple sword slices on the head.
Yeah, so Jet has plenty of health, but without the silver arrows, he's going to have to do the 8 Master Sword slashes or the 8 regular arrows, and decided to go for the 8 Master Sword slashes. Just finds a red ruby.
6 crystals before the 1 hour mark. Yeah, this is pure Jet seed right here.
Well, a mirror and a flute to 8, and he will be picking up his last crystal.
Actually, both runners will have, if Scatter's able to do a really good cold stare, we'll have 6 crystals before the 1 hour mark.
At this point, they're essentially going to be just repeating each other's steps. Scatter's finishing up Ice Palace, and he's going to have to go in the pod, and vice versa for Jet.
And Jet is in his last dungeon, still without the red cane or the boots, and we haven't seen the cane or the boots by Scatter yet, so this might look like a red cane and bootsless GT.
Definitely a possibility. Scatter decided, to do the traditional NMG Ice Palace route, not check the chests, just go mode straight to the boss.
Yep.
Interesting.
Look, he got it down.
Interestingly, Jet decided to check that first chest. After skipping so many chests in other locations, he decided to pick up the first one in Ice Palace and got only the big key for it.
So is this setting some sort of record in this tournament that both runners have 6 crystals before the 1 hour mark? I don't think I've seen it this once in the tournament, you know?
I haven't personally followed the rankings. I know that world records for the randomizer seeds are as low as an hour 6 or 7 minutes, but we're only in week 2 of the tournament, so I don't know what the record so far for this tournament specifically is. But I would imagine this is going to be pretty close to it. Jet
It
having
has
a little-
potential. We're
Yeah,
just gonna
look.
see where this GT big key is, and then we'll confirm it.
Jet had a little trouble lining up that first bomb jump, but was able to pick it up on his second attempt. Without even the tempered sword, that doesn't have the option to easily kill those penguins. Has to resort to using the hook shot. I wouldn't be surprised at all if at some point the runners have passed potential silver arrows or third sword in their go moding of these dungeons.
Piece to heart in the big chest. That's one of the free items in this dungeon. And Jet's going straight to cold stare.
If anybody in chat is able to find a listing of recorded times for this tournament and current standings, I would be interested in seeing what the fastest run currently completed is. So please post that if you're interested in looking it up. So scattering entering pod just as Jet is finishing up Ice Palace. Ice Palace being a little quicker than pod does put him a couple minutes ahead. That pod big key was a little bit of a search compared to having to pick up nothing in ice relatively. So Jet will be heading up to Death Mountain a couple minutes ahead of Scatter, but very close.
Well, chat, we have all 7 of our crystals. Jet, we're gonna see if he's gonna head up to GT, but it's most likely he's gonna do it. Yeah, he's got the flute out and everything. This big key guessing game is... It's an interesting one this time. So, get your guesses in. If you guys want to be really trolly, then I guess free would be the number for the torch, and as for the right side, probably one of the higher numbers.
With this race being on the ALTTP randomizer channels rather than the speed racing channels, there's no official leaderboard for the big key guessing game. But if you want to be internet famous, go ahead and pick your guess between 1 and 22 of which chest you think will be containing the big key. And we will give you our praise and admiration if you win.
Alright, so this is interesting. Jet is opting to go to GT going this way through Super Buddy Cave to check those chests, and possibly, if he opts to do it, Hookshot Cave as well.
Checking
this is a very smart play.
Checking these 6 locations when you're on the way definitely makes sense. It also lets you avoid the dead rocks, and since Jet has not opened up the Turtle Rock portal, this is actually a slightly faster way, even if he did not need those 6 items. So.
Yep, he's playing it safe and checking Hookshot Cave.
Unfortunately, Scatter takes a death.
There's the boots! Alright, we don't have to worry about the torch now. Sorry about that. I just had to say that.
Absolutely, that's something that solves one of the 5 locations that were item blocked. I personally expect that the runners would rather have picked up the cane and unlocked 4 of the 5 items, but boots makes completing Ganon's Tower easier in general overall.
Yeah, that just leaves 5 chests remaining of possible troll. It's either going to turn into a pure jet seed, or it's going to turn to tables and into a troll seed.
Yeah, 5 chests. I tend to discount Tile Room. It's just I have a permanent memory block on Tile Room.
Everyone does. All right, chest number 1, Red Ruby. Chest number 2. Wrong size key.
Small key. Typically, runners like to continue right there, of course. That's the exact room where he needs the Key of Samari to continue.
Alright, torch was just bombs, so boots were not required to beat this seed.
With the location of the boots, though, it would have been nice just to pick up those bombs, you know, just to you know, show your appreciation for finding the boots.
Yep. Okay, 4 through 8. Just 4. Small key. 5. Small key.
Small key.
Yeah. Alright, 6.
And
Big key! Alright,
15 and
Jesse,
6.
confirm.
So now at 1 minute, 1 hour and 5 minutes, we can officially say we are in go mode.
Yes, now we can officially say we're in gold mode. So no potential big troll all along.
This works out very well for Scatter. He has the exact same options when it comes down to GT. He cannot go right, so he will be picking up the either going directly left and picking up that as his second or third chest, or he'll make the same route that Jet did and just check the 2 hope chests. So he's not going to lose any time. Most likely, I would expect Jet to be able to complete this in less than an hour and 20 minutes, unless he finds the tempered sword or the silver arrows in one of these last remaining 4 chests, which I'd be surprised if he doesn't check them. He is going to have the much longer Ganon fight.
I would check the 4 chests on top, because we're dealing with silverless Master Sword Ganon, which, oh man, that's a treat if anyone hasn't seen that yet.
It's fun to watch, and he, while he won't have any difficulty completing the fight, it's still a time-consuming fight, regardless of your skill level. 12 Master Sword spins for phase 1, 12 for phase 2, 4 for phase 3, and 24 for phase 4. So it's a 5 or 6 minute fight. So a 1 hour and 15 minutes is pushing it. I'm gonna say under 120.
Yeah, that probably makes sense. Okay, one last room in the gauntlet for Jet.
Fortunately, he does at least have the blue mail, which, you know, with a fight that long, is going to make a difference. I don't know how many potions he picked up. Half magic he has at least 1 blue potion. Half magic is going to make it's going to give him enough magic to do such a long, prolonged fight. Though with 24 sword spins in phase 4. I would expect him to do torches. So no, I totally forgot. He does not have the lamp, so he's going to have to use fire rod for all of those Ganon Tower lamp lights. That may definitely put a strain on his magic, even with half magic.
It'll be interesting indeed. Scatter is gonna fight Helmasaur. He'll have all 7 crystals. Alright, he's got 2 torches lit. There's free, and then this one he can just shoot from over here. Alright, nicely done.
Scatter takes a very unfortunate death on Helmasaur, and not having any fairies is going to have to start all the way at the beginning. That is the farthest you can possibly start back in this dungeon, unfortunately.
First two chests so far just had air and bomb capacity upgrades. Tempered sword! Okay, well that just... Well, that kind of takes off a bit of time there.
Yeah, that basically solves the Ganon fight. You still have the 12 sword slashes in the first two phases, but you have slashes now instead of mandatory spins.
And then the last chest in the game, just a piece of heart. Oh, you
And,
know, heart refills. That's always nice.
But both of our runners are used to the typical NNG Ganon fight, which does not have silver arrows and uses tempered sword spins. So this will all be muscle memory for them both when they get to that point.
Ooh, very well done on that first phase.
Is it
of
the
Agatha.
double?
Oh, nice! Another double. And another one. Oh man, make a quick work of Aga too right here.
He's hitting doubles, but they're hitting very close, so some of those didn't count as a full double. But I think that's 4 cycle.
Yeah, 4 cycle.
To answer chat's question, yes, 12 spins in the final phase with the tempered sword. You cannot use sword slashes. But with half magic, he'll most likely get the torch glitch, and you can get up to 3 tempered sword spins per lighting of the torch if you're really lucky with Ganon's positioning.
Alright, Ganon giving us our insta facts as we enter the first phase.
So that's 12 slashes for phase 1. He'll be starting phase 2 now.
Yep, there's phase 2. A little low on hearts.
Unfortunately, he takes 2 hits off the bats there, trying to get in the position, but he does complete phase 2. And in phase 3, he just needs 1 hit in each of these 4 teleport locations. If he does it quickly, he can avoid any bats. And it's unlikely that he's going to take any damage in phase 4.
Yeah. Now we're going to get a clue on where the silver arrows were, so we don't have to worry about that. It looks like it was in the Dark World somewhere. Alright, let's see if he gets the torch. Oh, he doesn't get the torch glitch! Alright. We'll make it a little trickier on... Now. Ooh, running low on hearts. He has a blue potion, though.
It's a blue potion. Most likely it's going to try to use up a little bit more magic before using that potion, but he can only take 1 more hit and then he dies. So he has to be very careful. It's 5 or 6 hits in so far.
Okay, he's using the potion. Playing a little safe there. Okay, let's torches once again.
So Scatter has completed pod. He now has all 7 of his crystals. He can hit the GT whenever he's ready. It looks like he's doing a little bit more. Well, he doesn't have the flute, so
Probably gonna stock up on potions as well.
Yeah, without the flute, he unfortunately has to walk up to the witch's hut. But picking up some potions is definitely a nice safety to have.
And Ganon goes down on Jet. Very, very well done. It's gonna be 114 something by the looks of it.
Excellent phase 4 for Jet. Just needs to walk through this door and he will be done with an official time of 1 hour, 14 minutes, and 7 seconds.
Yeah, that's GG's right there.
Sub 115 after all. The tempered sword.
Yes.
Picking up that tempered sword made the difference, getting him under that 115 mark. I don't know if that's a personal best for him, but it is pretty close, most likely.
That was an amazing run by Jet. And by Scatter as well.
Scatter is not far behind. He'll be entering Ganon's Tower in just a few minutes, and most likely should be finishing within 15 minutes of Jet's time, potentially getting the sub 130. If we're gonna keep an eye out for Jet, most likely we're gonna try to get him in here for an interview, and get his thoughts on the seed.
Oh yeah, and while we wait, coming to the conclusion of this run, be sure to give both of our runners a follow. They put on a very good show, especially with this Jet seed, obviously. Both of our runners being Scatter and Jet082. Not only that, but give us a follow to our tracker, which is Merc249, as well as my co-commentator for today, being Tiru.
Thank you, Murphy, and of course, be sure to check out Murphy's channel as well. We will post those links at the end of the race. I brought Jet into the commentary chat. Congratulations, Jet, on a 1:14 time. Is that a personal best for you?
Hey, it might be pretty close to it. It's for this particular version. Yes, this is a PB. I might have had around this time before as well, but man, so I forgot I had boots. My comment in the chat there. The Master Sword, no cane. So no cane in GT. And after I beat Lammo, I'm like, I had a complete brain fart. I'm like, I have to walk everywhere now because I can't kill the enemies. I don't even know, guys.
You know, I was in that same situation of having no red cane going in the GT. So I were you feeling the pressure at that point that GT Big Key had a slight chance of being on right side?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, you saw me checking a few locations that were sort of quick to get to or had a lot of chests to get to, just in case I needed cane. But I'm like, I'm going to gamble GT, and if it's not here, then I get to look elsewhere. And maybe I'll go to Mire or something next. So I knew it was a bit of a gamble. I really wanted a sword. It's a shame it was upstairs, but silvers were somewhere in the Dark World. I have no idea where, because I didn't check many places at all.
Well, finding that tempered sword, saved you 3 or 4 minutes in your Ganon fight. Got you under the 115 mark. Scatter, he just found his Ganon Tower Big Key and is making his way upstairs. He is not too far behind at all.
This is a ridiculous seed.
Of course.
Yeah, this seed, you were able just to walk around and just randomly walk in the dungeons, and everything was there for you.
So, I got the bow, and then when I finally got the mitts and went to Dark World, I was actually feeling a little bit behind because we have flippers early, and I'm like, it would have been nice to have these mitts earlier, because then when I went up to Death Mountain that first time, I could have had mitts as well, and I would have been able to check both sides, and it turns out that's where boots were anyway. So, it would have been nice. I was wondering if my opponent did that. But then I'm like, well, I did find Bow up there, and that was nice. And once I looked at the map, in Dark World, I'm like, holy crap, I just need Hammer. That's it. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll just keep an eye out for Hammer. And then it's in C-shaped house. I'm like, I'm in go mode. That is weird. That was what, 40 minutes in or something?
Yeah, the Hammer was right next to Thieves Town, exactly where you needed it. Both of you decided to sequence break up to Death Mountain at just about the same time.
Okay.
You never found the lamp, and you didn't find the flute until Swamp Palace. Scatter didn't check that chest, so he didn't pick up the flute at all.
Okay.
So you had the bow, during a sequence break, essentially, for the majority of that game.
Right. So maybe flute was required to get up to Death Mountain. I think because Hammer was over C-shaped house. We had flippers and Mira. Yeah, so the game probably... Wait, where was... No, Hook was early too, yeah. So
Hook was early, and the gloves were accessible without a sequence break as well.
Yeah, so
and the mitts,
seed could put Lantern basically anywhere at this point, because it looked like Flute got you to Death Mountain, which is where Bow was.
Well, I actually had a routing question for you, if you don't mind.
Okay.
So when you were coming out of Swamp Palace, I was expecting that you were you found the flute, but I was expecting that you were going to head over to Ice Palace,
Yeah.
clear that, and then swim up directly up the pod.
Right.
Instead, you decided to save and quit and activate the flute. I'm curious what your thinking was for that, because you didn't actually need the flute for anything.
Well, I figured. So I was thinking the same thing. Like you can go right. It's a little faster to get the ice by fluting, and I figured flute would save the majority of it is that flute would save me time going to pod. So I'm like, I think it's worth walking from Sanctuary to activate flute, and that way it'll save me time when it comes to going to pod. It's basically the same time as walking to pod. And then I could check, sick kid on the way, which was worth because I got that tunic. I didn't know that at the time. I could check mushroom and get a potion because I was really worried I was going to have to master sword Ganon. So I'm like, let me get a potion refill as well. So it was more like a bit of safety, a couple of places I could check, and I figured it was about equal in time. So I'm like, I might as well activate the flute. And if I'm going to activate the flute, I might as well flute to 8 to get to ice. That was my thought process. I could have gone either way. It was like a 50-50.
Well, that makes sense. Thank you for clarifying that. I was curious.
It's really hard to determine because I have no idea the timing difference. It just felt like it was faster since I was going to flute to 5 anyway and save some time. Might as well, check some locations and activate it.
Well, but by no means, either choice, would have accomplished the goals. But you were skipping so many chests through Swamp Palace, and various dungeons that I was just a little curious on the activation of an item that you didn't need. So I wanted to make sure I asked you about it.
Yeah. So my thing was, if there's a chest on the way, or it takes very little time to get, check it. For sword, silvers. If I had tempered, I wouldn't have checked anything. I would have just gambled on the whole cane situation. Like, it was the fact that I had Master Sword which made me check for those chests.
Well, Scatter just picked up his tempered sword, and he is on Moldorm 2 at the moment.
Yeah, we have your collection rate on the screen. Only 115. That's probably the lowest I've ever seen.
That is so ridiculous. It's basically almost equal to my time of 114. Jeez. I've never seen a seed like this. And really, it was a sequence break that allowed me to get the bow. Because otherwise, like we talked about, you have to go get flute. I mean, it's not too bad. Where hammer was, if you're focusing on dungeons, you eventually would have gotten the flute. But I still think it would have been longer to do that. And you would have checked more things looking for bow. The fact that as soon as I grabbed hammer, I put myself in go mode, I think saved me some time.
Oh, yeah. So, thoughts on the seed? Did you like it? There was a jet seed?
That, is pretty much the definition, isn't it? It's really hard to go faster. There is faster. I think the record, I don't know if it's V20, I don't think it's V29, but it's like something like 104. But even still, 114.
Yeah,
if I had boots earlier, I think it would have been better.
If you would just hold off in a second there, Jet, if you don't mind. We got Scatter heading into his Ganon fight. I'd like to direct Chet's attention over to that. Watch him finish up his race. Like I said, he's in the same situation as you are. He has the tempered sword and no silver arrows.
I'm a little disappointed in my GT, just because I forgot boots. And my Ganon fight was not very good either.
Unfortunately, you missed the torch glitch there and had to go through a little bit more magic, but having that blue potion was...
Yeah, it wasn't too much of a concern. It's actually been a while since I had to use Fire Rod on the torch. Usually, if I'm using Fire Rod on the torch, it's because I have silvers, and I want to delay it and not get the torch glitch so I can get Ganon in the middle of the room. So it's sort of like it's been a while since I practiced, and we had a safety potion. It's okay.
Ganon needs to be careful here. 2.5 hearts. You can only take one more hit, and he's making the same decision, opting to pull out that blue potion just to be safe.
Yeah, let's see if he gets the torch glitch. He's got that fire rod ready. Nice, gets it.
Nails it perfectly. Ideally for Scatter, he could have, if he had the cape, he could have, used up some of that magic. But he only had the Cane of Burnout, which does not allow sword spins, so he had no option but to use his blue potion. It's a little difficult to count the number of hits without the audio, but looks like he's consistently getting doubles. He's down to half his magic, plenty of magic left. He still has 8 shots left. And he probably only needs 2 or 3 more hits on Ganon at the most.
Yeah, hopefully he doesn't run out of magic, but he should be fine.
Ganon isn't giving him great positioning in order to get any triples. But he still has, I believe, 4 shots left.
And he gets it.
There we go. As soon as he walks through the door, we will have his official time.
And we'll see if he's ready. He wants to do an interview as well. There we go. 1 hour, 27 minutes, and 33 seconds for Scatter.
That is also an amazing time for this seed. Only 13 minutes behind Jet082. Very respectable finish. Similar routing between both players. A little bit of difference in the execution, which you can expect. Scatter's been playing for about 6 months. Jet's been playing this randomizer specifically for over 2 years. But we got an excellent performance from both of our runners. I'm going to bring Scatter in right here. We'll get his thoughts. Welcome, Scatter. Congratulations on running an excellent seed. Very fun to watch. Your time of 127, extremely impressive.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel pretty good about that. That was a ridiculous seed.
GG's.
GG.
So
Yeah,
was your go mode also Hammer?
Yeah, it was. I didn't realize it until I already had Thieves Town done. When I was like, okay, what am I looking for? And I looked at my tracker. I was like, wait, nothing. I'm not looking for anything.
Yeah, Hammer. Same here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like that. We see the final screen on Jet's side. His collection rate was 115, and I think he actually checked a few more locations than you did. Was that a personal best for you?
It was. It was.
Nice. Congrats.
Thanks.
Congratulations on a new PB.
Yeah, I mean, thanks, but it's all because of the seed, I think.
That's rando.
All
That
personal
that's
bests
true.
are from lucky seeds.
That's a good point. That's true.
It's true.
Yeah, I checked like a few easy to check ones that were on the way. But I was like, I was kind of thinking I had to gamble. Like, obviously, I was thinking like, what if Big Key's on torch? What if Big Key's on right side? But I was like, I'm just gonna take the gamble because I figured that was the only shot I had at winning, which it probably would have been. Of course, I didn't really come that close anyway.
Well, what's really interesting is that you made the sequence break up to Death Mountain without the lamp, which is the same thing Jet did. You guys both did the pod dark rooms, the eastern dark rooms. You essentially had with the exception of very, very minor detours, the exact same routing.
Yeah, that's not really too surprising. It was slightly linear if you account for the sequence breaks, because I was like, well, I forget exactly what it was I could choose between when I decided to go to DM, but to me at least, it was the obvious choice to go up there through the dark cave. And then, of course, that paid off because that was a bow, and then it's like, well, EP, and then it all kind of went from there.
Same exact thought process here. I'm like, hey, well, I actually went up to Death Mountain because I wanted rupees so I can go to Zora with those flippers. And just the fact that we got bow, I'm like, well, I guess I'll go to Eastern because I can.
Yeah, you made up some time over me there because I actually did go up to Zora and I checked the three chests. I didn't have rupees at that point, but there was nothing up there, so.
Yeah, I ended up doing it as well, but it was after Death Mountain. Well, after Eastern. We had
okay.
I also ended up finding Flute in Swamp. I checked a couple of chests in there, and I found boots in Hookshot Cave. And that was on the way to GT.
I considered dipping into Hookshot Cave on the way to GT just in case it was going to be like Boots or Samari or something. I was like, no, I'll just take the gamble. If I ended up needing it, that probably would have been the first place I checked.
Well, for what it's
just
worth,
leave and go over there.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, for what it's worth, Scatter. Like I said, Jet pointed out, or I was going to point out that he picked up the flute that was in it was in the southern chests of Swamp after you've gone through the in the back half. So that gives you far more items that are sequence broken because Jet put himself back in logic for all of Death Mountain. So you hold the sequence break record for this race.
Oh, good. Can I count that as a win?
You can count
I did
internet fame kind of win.
We did Dungeons in the Dark, so those are all sequence breaks.
That's true.
That is true.
Yeah, but Jet put all of Death Mountain back in the sequence.
Yeah, I know. Stupid Flute.
Yeah, stupid Flute. I guess we could have given you a pass if you chose not to activate it, but since you activated it, you're back in logic. I'm sorry.
Hey, I activate it for chat. They need their anthem. We have to play it.
Oh yes, of course.
That's true. We did avoid the great Twitch chat rebellion of 2018.
So, we are actually coming up to the conclusion of round 2 in this tournament. We're going to enter round 3 on Monday. Well, what are your thoughts on it so far?
It's fun.
The tournament overall, yeah.
So many races. So many.
It's crazy. 256 races a week for 2 months is crazy to think about.
Yeah.
So we'll get a final look at Scatter's collection count here in just a moment. There really isn't too much more to say on this seed, being so quick. Do either of you guys have anything to say before Murphy and I wrap things up?
Well, one thing about the seed, which was very briefly, we got Master Sword early. I was sort of worried. We had Hookshot, Moon Pearl early. I was worried about Aghanim until that wasn't the case. And outside the seed, thank you guys for commentating. Thanks to our tracker. I don't know everyone who's been doing this, so thanks, guys. Make sure you give my opponent a follow.
And mine as well.
I thought you went on a secret. Chat wanted free bottles in GT. and Moon Pearl on Sick Kid or something like that.
Yeah. Oh man, that bottle sitting there at Lumberjacks. I'm like, is this worth? There's got to be other bottles.
Yeah, I was pretty. I checked that like right off the bat, and I was like, that's probably nothing. And then it was nothing, so that's good.
Well, the tunic was nice. We only had like 10 hearts.
Tunics are always
Oh,
nice
like
to
from
find on.
yeah. But you didn't need agate.
No.
Man, no time for Pegasus boots or Flute. In the credits there.
108.
108. Jeez.
Wow.
I'm
That's-
waiting for the seed, the random seed, not like someone made it, but a random seed with sub 100 items. How crazy would that be? You had half. You got 50% collection rate. I'm jealous.
Yeah. I mean, that could have been
Yellow
lower
sand.
too. You think about, because I checked a few chests I didn't need to check. I checked one in swamp, one in ice. No, two in ice. And well, I guess pod. I didn't check anything I didn't need to because I got the big key last.
I ended
But
up
yeah.
getting like I did the 5 things in Hype Cave, the
Oh, I got
6
Hype
up
Cave
in
too.
Dark Death Mountain. So that's 11 right there, and then I checked a couple of extra chests in Ice and Swamp. So yeah, it totally could have been sub 100 if I just stopped opening chests. But I really wanted a sword.
Yeah, that was my thing. Either I would have been fine with either tempered or silvers.
Right.
Did you
exactly.
find tempered? I assume you
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, it was upstairs GT. I'm like, I'm gonna open these 4. I might as well.
Yeah, I was so relieved to find that.
That was a little bit odd, your choice of which chests to check. You skipped the first one in Swamp behind the bomb wall, and the compass one in Swamp, but then you went and checked the first one in Ice and found the Ice Palace Big Key.
Yeah, when I was. Oh, wait, did we both?
Oh,
do
we
that?
both did the same thing apparently. Because I skipped the bomb wall as well. Because I'm like, you have to switch your menu to bombs, wait for the bomb, walk over. Nah, I'm not gonna do that. But the one in Ice, it's like, well, you just hookshot these guys. That's easy.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure 108 is the record for the lowest collection rate, while 114.06 is the fastest anyone's completed the seed in this tournament so far. So, I guess
Wow.
congrats on breaking.
Ridiculous seed.
Both of you guys will be able to clip this and add it to your permanent highlight reels.
Our PBs.
Yep.
I need
So
to flip a bunch of things in my reels.
So I went ahead and posted in chat links to both of our runners, Jet082 and Scatter. Please be sure to give them a look in and a follow. They were very close race, both excellent execution, doing a very fun seed, and you'll see a lot more of that on both of their channels. Also, our tracker, Merc249, and our restreamer, a Stolia. I am careful to pronounce that correctly this time. In addition, there are, over the next 3 months of this tournament, there are over 2,000 races on Speed Gaming channels 1 through 6 and ALTTP Randomizer channels 1 through 4. Schedules for those tournaments fluctuate, but are available by checking any of those channels. They have schedules posted.
Oh yeah.
And lastly, I want to thank my co-commentator, Murphy0749. Thank you very much.
Yes, with pleasure. And if you guys want more rando action, we have one race going on Speed Gaming 2, and another one coming up around 12 p.m. or 12 a.m. On Speed Gaming 4. So got that to look forward to, I guess. And that said, we're signing off. So I hope you all enjoyed the seed.